Henry Schoolcraft brokered the 1836 Treaty of Washington with the United States and the Ottawa and Chippewa nations. One interesting fact about this treaty, the leaders of the Ottawa and Chippewa nations actually traveled by canoe from northern Michigan all the way down to Washington, D.C. to sign it. They'd use waterways and tributaries and paddled for weeks on end because if they weren't there to sign the treaty, the Americans might have given them an even worse deal than the one that they ended up signing. This deal saw the Anishinaabe tribes yield nearly 14 million acres of land in the northwestern part of the Lower Peninsula and the eastern part of the Upper Peninsula. In return, the tribes would receive permanent reservation lands and perpetual access to natural resources, including hunting and fishing rights. The United States agreed to pay for the land and provide additional services, including use of a dormitory constructed on Mackinac Island. You might ask why Native Americans would agree to such a treaty. Well, the Anishinaabe tribes fought on the side of the British in the War of 1812, as they could see the dismal tide of America coming. The Anishinaabe hoped that if the British defeated the United States, maybe they would be able to maintain some of their land. But after the British decided that the United States wasn't worth fighting for anymore, they signed a treaty and ended their battle with the Americans and left the area after many Native Americans had already fought and died in the war. And then in 1830, Andrew Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act, which resulted in the Trail of Tears, and many indigenous people south of the Great Lakes dying and being forcibly removed west of the Mississippi River to reservations in Kansas and modern-day Oklahoma. So it seemed like the best option available for the Anishinaabe tribes to sign a treaty, make some money, and maintain some of their land instead of being forcibly removed, losing all of their land forever. But as an example of how the US government treated Native Americans horribly, immediately after representatives of the Anishinaabe tribes navigated waterways in birch bark canoes all the way to Washington, D.C., signed the Treaty of Washington, and paddled back home to the Great Lakes, Congress altered the terms of the treaty and instead made it so it was only effective for 5 years before the government could forcibly remove the Native Americans from the area. Coincidentally, this land officially made Michigan a big enough state so that the US government could admit them into the Union, and 1 year later, in 1837, that is exactly what would happen.